So I'm pretty sure everybody knew exactly what was up when we got this main event match between CM Punk and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship here at Summerslam. You had to figure there's going to be a chance of a possible Seth Rollins cash in, because remember, Seth Rollins, even though he was quote unquote injured, he still was Mr. Money in the Bank. And I'm just going to give you my raw, unfiltered thoughts as far as the whole main event situation goes, because we had this match between CM Punk and Gunther, and I think hands down this was probably the match of the night. They told really an old school concept of a match, because Gunther, for the most part, for around, I would say 85% of this entire match, maybe 90% of this entire match, Gunther was in control. He was chopping the shit out of CM Punk. There was bruising on CM Punk's chest. It was essentially a classic old school championship match here in the main event of SummerSlam. Eventually, CM Punk found his way back against Gunther. He tripped him up on the announce table, busted him open. There was this great visual of Gunther, just, bloodied up. His whole face is bloodied up. CM Punk took advantage, gave him 2 GTSs, won the match. Now CM Punk is the new World Heavyweight Champion. Now, if the show would have gone off right then and there, I would have been super happy. I was super happy that CM Punk finally, after all these years, was a World Heavyweight Champion once again. But again, you always had to realize that there's the possibility of a Seth Rollins cash-in. And of course, you hear the music. Seth Rollins comes out. He comes out in crutches. He comes out with Paul Heyman, his Oracle, side by side with the Money in the Bank briefcase, kind of as a reminder to CM Punk that whenever the moment is right, he is going to come back for CM Punk. So enjoy your title reign while you still can. And CM Punk is obviously still in the ring, after this match. Seth Rollins is up on the entrance ramp. He turns around, he knocks over his crutches, and he reveals that this injury was a fake. And he storms down towards the ring. He grabs the official. He cashes in his Money in the Bank contract. He stomps CM Punk and he wins the championship. Seth Rollins is now the new World Heavyweight Champion, with CM Punk having his title reign clock in just about 5 minutes. And Seth Rollins is now the new World Champion. Now, I'm going to say one thing that I think everybody knew that this was going to happen. I think predictable is one thing that we could say about this ending. Sometimes predictable is good, sometimes predictable is bad. I'll let you be the judge of that as far as that goes. But I was kind of semi-hoping that Seth Rollins wouldn't show up on this particular match, because CM Punk winning, obviously the crowd, they came unglued for that, right? They came unglued for CM Punk winning back a championship, a world championship. I would have preferred, honestly, if Seth cashed in tomorrow night against Cody, because I feel like Seth and Punk, we've seen it so many times this entire year. And if I'm being truthful, I don't really think this feud has lived up to its expectations as far as this blood feud. And I also have to raise the question, if Seth Rollins was perfectly fine this entire time, why wouldn't he have cashed in earlier? Why would he have given the satisfaction to CM Punk of winning the World Heavyweight Championship? And I just kind of came out of this as far as like, oh man, we got Seth Rollins as the World Heavyweight Champion. I wonder in 3 weeks, in a month from now, how everybody views this world title reign, because Triple H, he's really shock factor. He really likes these moments as far as when you come out of this entire show, leaving you guessing. But as far as his follow-up, he never really has a good enough follow-up to top what he just did. So I severely hope that at the very least, he follows up with a decent enough follow-up for this Seth Rollins cash-in here. But as far as the rest of the night goes, we started off with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This was another sort of sign that I figured that Seth was going to cash in at the end of the night, because Roman Reigns and Jey Uso got the win over Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Roman Reigns sort of, sacrificed himself for Jey Uso because he ate a nasty spear from Braun Breaker. Roman Reigns had his working shoes on during this entire match. So like I said, the baby faces got the win there, and Bronson Reed also came out with the shoes that he stole from Roman Reigns this past Monday night, calling himself the tribal thief. I think it was the Shoe La Fala or whatever. Obviously the Ula Fala, but with Bronson Reed. So going forward, I don't know when we see the next of Roman Reigns. That could be in a couple of months from now, because Roman Reigns is not going to be around following SummerSlam. Kind of would have figured that Bronson and Braun would have got the win here to kind of cement them as top heels, at the very least the top heels that they should be presented as. But I kind of figured, like I said, that with them losing, it wasn't going to bode well for somebody like CM Punk, because you start off the show with the babyface win and you end off the show with a heel win. So that's kind of where my mindset was at. After that, we had Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair against Roxan and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Tag Team Championships. There was a lot of tag team matches on the show, I'm not gonna lie. There was, I think, 3 tag team matches on this show. Alexa and Charlotte got the win over both Roxanne and Raquel. I was kind of surprised that they got the win, because I figured they would, hold off on that at the very least, until Clash in Paris. But they got the win here. Obviously, the whole Charlotte Alexa thing, the whole Charlotte Alexa dynamic, it's really helping out Charlotte, because now she's getting cheered by the fans, and eventually, obviously, like I said, you can run the angle of Alexa and Charlotte turning on each other once they lose that tag team championships. We also had Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross. This match, the whole match really was teased around whether or not Sami Zayn would turn to the dark side, whether or not he would, unleash the devil side of him. And, going into this match, I knew Sami Zayn was going to win. I knew Karrion Kross wasn't going to have a chance here at SummerSlam, especially. There's been a lot of talk as far as Karrion Kross goes, whether or not his deal is going to be renewed. Definitely him losing here in this match doesn't bode well whether or not he's going to be renewed at all. So this could be potentially the last time that you see Karrion Kross on WWE television. Next, we had Tiffany Stratton against Jade Cargill in a solid match. It ran a little short, but then again, this was all it needed to be. As far as Jade Cargill goes, she's been kind of considered somewhat sloppy in the ring. But, going into this match, I was kind of a little hesitant, because these two ladies, they're not sort of, they're not veterans by any stretch of the imagination. So I was kind of wondering what match we would get from both ladies. But Jade Cargill, I think this was probably one of her better singles matches. Because, like I said, she has been a little sloppy in the ring. Good call by not having her win, because she is still not ready to be women's champion. Next, we had Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. One thing I will say about this was the crowd was hot, especially at the end, towards the end of the match with Jelly Roll. As far as Jelly Roll goes, him in ring, they kind of just did the basics with him. He didn't really show out as far as somebody else like a Bad Bunny or a Logan Paul, who coincidentally kind of did most of this match as far as bumping for Jelly Roll and so on and so forth. There was a cool spot though on the outside where Logan Paul actually put Jelly Roll through the table, and I thought that was one of the better spots throughout this entire match. So the medics, they started to take Jelly Roll towards the back, but Jelly Roll, he refused to go to the back. He tried to help his partner, once again, Randy Orton, in this match. But eventually, Logan Paul gave him a frog splash, and he lost this match. So Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre end up winning this match against Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. Kind of a surprising outcome, because I would have suspected Jelly Roll as the celebrity wrestler here in this match. They want to give sort of a win here and, make the headline, so to speak. So I was kind of shocked at the outcome, or surprised at the outcome at the very least, that Logan and Drew would pick up the win. But post your comments down below as far as what you thought of SummerSlam Night 1. What did you think of the Seth Rollins cash-in here against CM Punk? And what did you think of the night overall as a whole? Let me know what you guys think down below. And until next time, I will see you all tomorrow for SummerSlam Night 2.